Good day, dear participants. Welcome to our session. I congratulate you all to the Financiers Day. Our session is dedicated to the insurance, and we are starting. So we will be talking about insurance for protection of the financial interests. I would like to give the floor to the participants of the session, Director of the Department of the Insurance Market and Actuary Settlements of the Republic of Kazakhstan for Regulation Development of the Financial Market, Asil Muldagaliyevna, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the State Credit Bureau Joint Stock Company, Linara Anwarbekova, Deputy Chairman of the Board of Halyk Life, Andrei Zhamanbekovich Aksmbayev, Chairman of the Board of Nomad Insurance, Daurian Imanjanov, Deputy Chairman of the Board of Eurasia Insurance Company, Nazim Tulchinsky, and Chairman of the Board of Komesk Omer Joint Stock Company, Oleg Hanin. Dear colleagues, I would like to start by saying that the year 2022 will be marked as a year of global and significant stress. The geopolitical crisis will be notable in the history, and the events happened in this year in Kazakhstan from the beginning of this year. In January, those horrible events, they have the consequences for the whole market and the insurance market in particular. And what is happening now is felt by the whole economy and by the insurance market specifically. At the same time, of course, our life does not stop. The regulator was flexible in its reaction and response, reacting operatively, and it allowed to preserve stability in our market. Also, I would like to emphasize here that during this period, the work on the regulatory legal documents did not stop for any moment. Specifically, the law adopted in July of this year, which came into effect since the 12th of September, giving new opportunities for us. And one of the main documents we should emphasize is the concept of development of the financial sector in the new edition, which was adopted on the 22nd of September, as far as I remember, maybe on 24th of September. And it is interesting to note here that the target indicators have been set in 2025. The insurance market should grow from the current 2.2%, as far as I remember, of the GDP to 3% in 2025 and to 5% in 2030. These are enormous plans. We see certain fluctuations and difficulties in different directions. We should emphasize here specifically the insurance of life. Therefore, I would like to suggest you discussing these topics and to try to see and hear the plans the regulator sees for our market, to see the signals for the market to focus, to get concentrated, because I see because your signals are sort of trends for investments, and we don't want to lose these investment opportunities. So what is the vision of the regulator in terms of development, take into account the challenges we have, the ISFR. We need to lay a basis to be ready for the future development, keeping the challenges in mind. So the floor is yours. Thank you, Ram Razak, for your question. For the floor given to me, I would like to congratulate everyone, all the colleagues, to our professional first, and wish you stability, success in your work, and good health. This year has been very intensive. In September, the law has come into effect, which we have been writing for 2 years, and the concept was adopted in the form of an important regulatory document. The insurance sector and the trends for us to continue in this 20 years of work of this sector, we have created the holistic infrastructure, and we can be proud of that. We have the Association of Financiers. We have uniform insurance database. We finally see that starting from 2022, all the types of insurance are present. So the guarantee system is developing. The law on amendment of the system has been adopted, and there are guarantees for all mandatory types of insurance. Also, we have mandatory prejudicial procedure, which was discussed in terms of amendments to the law. Starting from 2024, we'll have compulsory prejudicial regulation of the disputes. Also, there are some issues with the actuaries community which has to be strengthened in the future. We will work on that. So the state is performing a great deal of work to have sufficient development in the market in terms of infrastructure and regulation as well. We are working based on the international standards on the insurance supervision. A lot of work has been done in the last 3 years with respect to the risk-oriented supervision, and the concept, indeed, it is a very important document, and it states the goals, ambitious goals, which will ensure achievements. Not only 5% of assets of the GDP are expected by 2030, but also the coefficient of payments should be not less than 60% by 2030. And now it is 20 only, as you know. And this indicator determines the trend. And the main block is the protection of the consumer rights, and the topic of our discussion is based on the protection of financial interests of consumers, among others. Therefore, there are 4 main directions. The first one is a huge trend or activity we are working on, that is extension of the line of the insurance products. We are expanding it, we are working on it. So the life insurance industry has developed significantly in the last several years. Link is one of the most active companies working with this product, one company for the life insurance to support the annuity for pension funds. They have been developed for some time, but then it was postponed. Also on the value, I will express my vision a bit later on. A lot of things have been done, actually. In general, insurance, the imposed insurance has been introduced. The compulsory car insurance, we made a revolution there, getting rid of the strict tariffs in the law. Starting from 2024, we will have a tariff which will be based on the losses. This is the most correct actuarial approach to be implemented as for both mandatory and voluntary products. From this point of view, I believe that a lot of work is being done. And we don't see any increase or impetus. If we look in the nearest future for such huge growth of the GDP, we need serious reforms which will allow us to do so. I see only 2 real directions. This is asset insurance against catastrophic risks and mandatory medical insurance. In my opinion, it should have been done through the commercial sector. But while those decisions had been made in the pension fund annuities, we could expand the opportunities to deduct for the real estate and treatment. The same deductions could have been allowed through the insurance, life insurance companies. It was not done, by the way, because the trust to this sector is still quite low. And although during these years the market has become stronger and there is a financial stability of the companies on all prudential regulations, indicators are quite good. As Iran has noted, we try to take the operative measures in terms of regulation of the supervisory function with respect to the prudential norms and regulations, and special attention was paid to the stability of the financial sector and the products which the state could entrust to the private sector, including the medical insurance, mandatory medical insurance, pension annuities, and others. This all could have been passed to the private sector, commercial sector, if the market could have shown the KPI for this sector at a quite high level, but it didn't happen, and we believe we need to work on this and increase the confidence level through different tools. So the second block of the concept is digitalization, of course. And starting from 2019, a lot of work has been done. We are trying to keep the insurance contracts being concluded and maintained with provision with the customer services in the digital form. 6 years ago, there was a famous video, all the companies must have seen it, when two cars have an accident, traffic accident. The drone is flying and making picture, and this is the future of car insurance. And after 6 years, we are just talking of making digital payments to have online services, but still we are happy that there are companies who are ready not to wait until 2024, according to the amendments made. They are offering the platforms for the online settlement of the insurance cases. In terms of structurization of this sector, it is important to note not only the products, but also the fact that the digitalization of this sector and insurance itself will develop properly when we have enough statistics. No pricing or reservation can be done without the statistics. So the second important trend is digitalization. There are a lot of platforms which could be developed for that, for RegTech. And the example, InsurTech, I have given to you. This is an important sphere, and it's good that in 2019 we have started performing this work step by step, and we are moving forward. And the third direction in the concept is supervision, regulation, sustainability of financial and insurance organizations. We have done a lot of work here too. I remember just 3 years ago when we developed the system of quality and quantitative assessment. The companies were not red or orange, they were green. There were a lot of discussions, if you remember, and I'm happy to know that the companies look at this system with comfort, and it's important that every player understands the rules of the regulator, the requirements of the regulator. The risk assessment system is brought into compliance with those regulations, and the insurance companies started making self-assessments based on IRIS system. That was for the first time, and it's quite a significant step, even though we had some tension about that. Still, the managers of companies, they feel comfortable because they understand the requirements, they understand the risks. Also, an important direction from the point of view of supervision, this year we made assessment of sufficiency of the insurance reserves for the first time and fairness of the asset value based on the classes. That that the class is quite problematic. We have long obligations, so this social aspect is very important. And specifically, since this type of insurance from public insurance was passed to all the life insurance with the long obligations, we have done so. The companies have provided the plans, and half of the companies are ready to pass the portfolio on the SMS class. We have done this work, and in my opinion, this system complies with the international principles. The concept states transition to the Solvency II system. We have started working in this direction. This is unavoidable, and the adapted system will be implemented so that then later we have learned to identify the risks and models in the right way, and we will come to the necessary outcomes and results. You have marked the challenge from the point of view ISFR. We have been working a lot with the National Bank, with the association, inviting the consultants. We developed the guidelines. It was quite a difficult work. There was a stress on transition to ISFR 17. And the first quarter will show us the weaknesses we will have to work on. We maybe will have to make some beneficial deferred benefits or opportunities to regulate the reporting systems. And the fourth direction, which is the main, is protection of the consumer rights. In our opinion, historically, this absence of trust and confidence to this sector in terms of payment of the insurance payments, this is the historical mentality, and there is a problem that there is no trust and confidence in the fast payments, online payments. It's quite low on the consumer side. Therefore, we need to work on that. The agency has developed the client-focused system, and we will use the models of insurance organizations on regulation of settlements and payments to the consumers. I believe this is the main block. When we will be sure that people believe in that, they believe and they trust that payment would be made, they will have financial literacy to understand the exclusions, because unfortunately there are some complaints, quite many complaints, when the consumers themselves do not understand quite well that the insurance companies who have received the premiums, they must make payment. Also, the financial literacy is quite important here. It needs to be increased, and the insurance sector, compared to the other sectors, has a sort of weakness or gap here in terms of training of the specialists. We have a deficit of the skilled specialists in this sphere. With respect to transition to solvency, there are not many specialists, not many higher educational institutions who teach on these subjects. They almost do not exist. This community of actuaries is trying to survive, And we're happy to know that the institutes are ready to integrate our program into their curriculum. The KBTU is considering this opportunity. We are in the progress of signing the contract at the master's level to implement the program there. We will have to work a lot in this sphere. Each company has faced this challenge. Previously, we thought that it is enough to buy the ready specialists, but unfortunately, we have run out of such ready specialists, and the market now needs to think of training the staff for this sphere, because this would be one of the assets we need to invest in to have the proper feedback from them. So this is, in general, the concept. I think we will have a lot of questions, and we will discuss them with our colleagues. In general, I would like to finish at the positive point, because I have stressed some difficulties, but we are happy to know that the infrastructure in this sector has financial stability from the point of view of the shocks which have happened in the recent times. We have seen the years when the indicators of this sector were lower and worse, and now even with these shocks, the sector could resist. And from the point of view of the developed infrastructure, finally, we have created the basis, the ground on which the correct rules should be established. And starting from early 20s, the state gave the opportunity in the form of obligatory types of insurance, like car insurance and so on.
As for life insurance, we have retirement annuities and other types of annuities. All that was available in the sector, but there are certain drawbacks. Mistakes have been made, systemic mistakes have been made, especially with respect to the system of retirement annuity, especially in those situations whereby we see that the system is moving in the wrong direction. And we do have certain issues relating to repayment. This arose because companies, in my opinion, did not take advantage of those opportunities which enabled them to retain those customers with the help of the profitability rates and the decrease in the cost of annuity. I think took place and can be explained not only by the fact that we decreased payouts on annuities to 0.7, but we need to say also that the rate of profitability went up, and during this turbulence it's difficult to guarantee anything, but still certain advantages could have been, I think, used. We could perhaps provide companies with certain insurance products, such as healthcare insurance and other types of insurance. And the market, in my opinion, has not taken advantage of these opportunities. Also, in the mandatory insurance sector, corporate clients could, instead of cashbacks, offer corporate medical or healthcare insurance. And those are the rules that are in the market, and I think clients are playing under those rules. But otherwise, I think we could have been able to raise our collections. And so these mechanisms were not implemented in full by the market, and that's where I think the market needs to work on further, and in the nearest future we need to take a look at this business from the point of view of our clients. Thank you. Thank you, Asil. Indeed, in the concept itself, we have the 5 direction, which is called the development of insurance as an instrument for protection of financial interests, and that's the topic of our session today. What you have said actually means that we do need certain guidelines. But development of competition with respect to products, I think, needs to be handled by the players themselves. And the situation that we're having right now also plays a key role. It's obvious that the market is facing certain problems relating to reinsurance. After we lost our rankings, the reinsurance market basically became narrower, and all that we can feel. And obviously, not only the Kazakhstani market was impacted. Internationally, globally, other markets have been impacted. Nazim, since you are a global player, how can you describe the current situation, and what tendencies are you observing right now? How can we take advantage of the situation, and what should we be developing, in your opinion? And do you think we should be focusing on the Kazakhstani market? Thank you so much for this great introduction. We professionals know that the international reinsurance market is characterized by the fact that it has several cycles, and we have the hard market there and the soft market. 5 years ago, we could say that we were at the low level in the soft market. How was it characterized? It was characterized by high volumes in the market. It was characterized by low franchises. It was characterized by low primaries, if we talk about proportionate reinsurance, and also by low price. All that led to the following. The international reinsurance market basically faced heavy losses. And we have several reasons for that. One of them I have mentioned already, but also there's another reason. The market saw hurricane-related losses, which were very heavy. And those seasonal hurricanes are critically important for reinsurance companies. During some years, those hurricanes didn't impact the economy significantly, but during other years, the impact was severe, and we are observing some really severe seasons, hurricane seasons. Perhaps you have heard about this Uri winter storm in Texas. That happened when consumers basically froze due to unusually low temperatures, and people had to basically stick together in order not to freeze. And so those hurricanes led to some heavy losses. So when the market sees these heavy losses, it reacts the following way. Franchises go up, reinsurance coverage gets worse, the insurance cost goes up. After that, we have a reverse process. The market sees that losses are fewer and investments become more attractive in the market, and additional money investments basically increase. The so-called catastrophic bonds also are used as an alternative source of financing. And so the situation gets back to normal, and again we go back to the point of the soft market. Unfortunately, today, I cannot say that we have certain conditions that will allow us to say that we are in the soft market. Quite the opposite. We see and we feel that actually all markets are getting worse as far as reinsurance is concerned. And we are moving towards the hard market. And if we talk about 2023, we can confidently say that that will be the year of the ideal storm. A lot of factors will merge into one, and we will see very, very bad trends. So I've mentioned the hurricanes, also inflation is a factor, and those helicopter funds that were released by governments during the pandemic, after the pandemic, also have impacted the inflation rate. I'm sure all of you know that we are already observing double-digit inflation rates in the Eurozone. And of course, the war in Ukraine has also played its extremely negative role. We already have said that for Kazakhstan, Russian volumes are becoming less attractive and even unavailable. And it's obvious that FACA and the European regulator intend to impose secondary serious sanctions on those companies who work under Russian companies that were already sanctioned. Unfortunately, all large Russian companies that were traditionally perceived in our market as Russian volumes, so to speak, they are on this sanctions list. That's why for Kazakhstan this is a worrying situation. Now let's talk about some figures and numbers. Only this year, reinsurance rates have increased by 10% as a minimum, which is a serious blow. We must be prepared for the following. The situation will get worse. That's why, unfortunately, you will not hear any good news from me in this regard. Let's talk about Eurasia now. How do we feel in that market? Of course, all those hurricanes that I have mentioned are our problem. Since we are a participant of the international reinsurance market, we obviously will not be able to avoid such heavy losses, and we will have to pay. But the good news is that due to the fact that those are quite large losses spread out in a large territory, to sort of regulate them, we will need time. And we are now paying for hurricanes for 2019, but we will have to pay for all of them. And that's the reason why this business is attractive for us, but it's not an easy business. Now, let me say a few words about how we feel in this market. We have been growing quite successfully, and during the pandemic, actually, we were able to increase our reinsurance portfolio significantly. In 2019, we signed more than 4 billion worth of contracts. In 2021, we had 23 billion tenge, and this year we will reach the level of 51, maybe even 52 billion tenge worth of premium payments. And so we wanted to understand why the pandemic for Eurasia became an additional sort of stimulus in terms of how the portfolio was developed. We consulted with brokers on that issue, and they identified certain factors that an insurance company can use if they want to enter the international market. Those basically are things that will enable you to be successful. The first one, of course, is high capitalization. We basically are selling promises. When you have nothing but promises, that is quite a difficult position. Of course, we need money, and we need money in our ring-fence fund, which is the name that is used by our colleagues from abroad. This is the capital that will not be available to shareholders. The shareholders will not be able to use those funds immediately. They are not immediately available to shareholders. So if you want to start playing in the international market, you need to persuade your shareholders to increase the charter capital of your company. The second success factor is the speed of underwriting. If you are going to work in the international reinsurance market, you need to be prepared for the following. Apart from having knowledge about insurance, you must also read a lot. You need to keep an eye on what is happening globally so that you know what risks you will be working with. In other words, the way you work with information is a second success factor. And of course, the speed of payouts needs to be mentioned. At Eurasia, we have the following rule. When we get all the documents for insurance payouts, we have only 24 hours to regulate, to sort everything out, which means that within the period of 24 hours, we need to send our insurance payouts to our broker. And that means that the liquidity of that company needs to be at a high level. And of course, the ranking is also an important success factor. In this sense, Eurasia feels very comfortable. As of today, we have the highest possible ranking or rating. So minus Baltic states, we have the territory of the former Soviet Union, so minus the Baltic states, we have the highest rating in that territory among private and state insurance companies. In Kazakhstan, it's even higher than the sovereign rating of the country itself. Money is not a determining factor. Rating agencies pays a lot of attention to the following issue. How well developed is the infrastructure of the market? That's the question that they look at. And the concept for the development of the financial sector is a very important document for us in this regard. Rating agencies evaluate not just the current situation in the market, but also prospects of development. They want to know how far the regulator and market participants are planning their work ahead. And that's why this document, of course, is extremely helpful for us. Eurasia, since 2011, is a leading reinsurance company in the market. Our share is about 90%, and it looks like the situation will not change. Are we happy with this? No, absolutely not. We do not feel comfortable when we are called the only insurance company from Kazakhstan or in Kazakhstan. That's not true. We believe that the buyer of these volumes needs to have a choice. That's why in our company we operate under the open street rule. If you've ever been to Thailand, you know that their bars and cafes are all located in one walk street. Everybody, all tourists, go there to eat, to drink, and all those cafes and bars are concentrated in one location. And that actually improves the quality of services provided. So from our point of view, this approach needs to be adopted to insurance. We shouldn't be the only company. We believe that Kazakhstan today has all the conditions to become a regional reinsurance hub. We have a well-developed infrastructure in the market. We have a vision of where the market will be moving and how it will be developing. We have another very important factor: available and accurate sources of information. I remember when the regulator started demanding reports to be provided on a monthly basis and statements, everybody was shocked. But after some time, everybody got used to that. Information is available on the website of the AFR. Rating agencies have access to that information. Everybody else has access to that information as to what is going on in the market. And that's the only case in the post-Soviet area whereby information about the insurance market of a country is easily available, which is highly evaluated by our partners. The way supervision is done in our country, I would like to say a few words about that. When we sell promises relating to payouts, our partner needs to understand that we are in the same situation with them. If you are selling reinsurance coverage to somebody in England or Switzerland, you need to show and to prove that you share the same values with them and that you know what you're talking about. That's why the way the regulator stimulates or incentivizes the market with respect to best international practices is something we need to pay attention to. IFRS and other standards will be a huge challenge for all of us. Today we do understand that this is a revolution in the market, and we will need to reconsider drastically the way we approach financial statements and reporting, but we need to do that, and we will be able to do that. Our partners highly value the quality of education of our employees. Today I've been talking about the shortage of highly qualified employees. Everybody have been talking about that. But from Eurasia only 3 underwriters were headhunted by our international partners. They were sort of brought up by our company, and now they work in financial centers of London, Dubai, and they do feel very comfortable there.
So this is a classic of the Soviet films, and of course Kazakhstan is the regional leader. We talk a lot with our colleagues abroad, and we have official, private discussions. And the last meeting was quite interesting. We asked, how is Kazakhstan perceived by you, by our international partners? And we received a very interesting feedback. They told us that to the east of Kherson, you are the most European country. How is that? I asked them. The answer was quite interesting, not in terms of the geography, although part of Kazakhstan geographically is located in Europe. He said that the behavior of Kazakhstan in the international arena and in terms of respect of the international law and in terms of humanitarian aspect, when our country once again started accepting the refugees of war from the Russian Federation, and the support provided by our people, by our population to these refugees, it was highly evaluated and estimated by our partners. It is easier for the partners to cooperate with the people who have a mentality closer to you. And today Kazakhstan is quite close to Europe, and it is accepted and perceived as a European country. And have the history ever seen the cases in the history when the president is restricting its authority and term of service? These are the signals which are appreciated. Kazakhstan has all the prerequisites to become a regional leader in terms of reinsurance. We have everything for that, for this kind of success. That is why we're inviting our colleagues to join in promoting Kazakhstan at the international arena. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Nazim Leonidovich. I would like to emphasize here that on the 4th of November 2022, an article was published, Who Will Take Care of the Families of the miners died, the market or the state, and it was noted that for the interests of the workers and state, the more rights and obligations should be provided to them, and the interest not only of the current miners but their grandchildren will be protected in a good way by means of insurance. And the insurance is attributed to the life insurance in this respect also. How do you think in different aspects they believe obligatory insurance is covering quite a big deal of the sector? How do you think how this can be implemented, and what should we focus on? Which products the population needs? And I said that we see a reduction in the pension annuity contracts. So in 10 months of this year, it is 2 times less than 10 months of the previous year. The opportunity of using it for the alternative needs has been provided by the state, the opportunity to use the pension assets, but still they remain at the state pension fund. There is a wrong communication with the consumers when the annuity representatives increase the payment. We met last week with the annuity specialists, and they said, we want to bring back everything to the state pension fund, believing that they can take all this money. But according to the pension law, there is the minimum level to be maintained and is preserved. How do you see these procedures, and which solutions should be foreseen for that? Thank you very much. Good day, dear colleagues. Congratulations to the Financiers Day representative of the company of life insurance. I would like to wish you good health and long life. We have prepared a presentation. The life insurance is the maximum socially oriented sphere which allows increasing the level of financial protection of citizens in case of any adverse events connected with life or health, and it covers the source of financing of the target-focused expenses of the citizens, including education for children and long-term care of the elderly people. The social sphere depends on macroeconomic indicators within the country and globally. So this is an interesting statistic we'd like to show to you. If we take year 2000 as a basis, as a start of the independent development of the insurance market, the payments of premiums in 2000 were at the lowest level, and in 2022 it has reached 0.32%. The number of insured 79 people in 2000 has grown to almost 3 million people in 2021, and the majority of them are the clients, borrowers who received loans at the financial institutions. And according to our assessments, the current number of voluntary insurance contracts without taking into account the borrowers is not more than 150,000 people. The insurance premium per capita from 14 in 2000 was increased to 20,000 Tenge in 2021. Also, the share of the insurance premium to these wages has grown to 6% from a very low level. We believe that the market growth could be significantly higher if the accumulation savings insurance system was being developed. The factors which retain the factors of development of insurance in Kazakhstan. We have shown some examples here of those factors. This is reduction of the consumption opportunities of the population due to the growth of inflation and limited profit, low level of financial literacy, and the insurance culture. Now the life insurance has a low demand among the population, and people do not know anything about the life insurance. The low level of trust and confidence in the insurance organizations and markets as a whole, low level of the profit on the insurance products. If we compare them with the classical products, if we compare them to the bank products, the profit is quite higher in the banking system. Weak economic stimulus for the savings insurance, accumulation insurance. Now, when they make a contract on the voluntary savings accumulation insurance, the client may save on the individual income tax about 20,000 Tenge per month. This is not a significant amount to encourage the people buying the long-term accumulation products. And the complexity of insurance products for life insurance, the people, they are more used to the banking products to plan their finances. Insufficient support from the state. We identify that these are the factors which do not allow the insurance, life insurance, to develop in Kazakhstan. What conditions should be complied with to expand the coverage by insurance? First of all, this is informing the population, introduction of the financial literacy classes in the schools. We need to conduct the events aimed at education of the mass media representatives. In my experience, I would like to emphasize that this year we have met journalists from the whole Kazakhstan, and we saw that the journalists cannot see the difference between the general insurance and life insurance. How could we hope that they could explain in simple words the insurance system to our population? We need to work in this sphere. Also, it is important to increase accessibility of the insurance services by creation of the mobile applications, websites, marketplaces, platform solutions, increase the quality of insurance services. It's clear that life insurance products are difficult to sell. Therefore, agency networks and agents are quite significant and important here. It is important to increase the quality of services provided, and quite frequently the competencies of agencies is quite level. Therefore, such a complex product should be explained thoroughly in simple words. And we believe that here it is necessary to introduce professional standards. Implementation of the state support in the life insurance, development of the accumulative insurance product on the basis of the state educational savings or cumulative system. Here it is necessary to, if we compare with the banking product, here apart from the premium of the state, the client is insured, and we hope that this year, when the regulatory legal acts are adopted, the insurance companies will start promoting this kind of product more actively. Creation of the economic stimulus for the life insurance development, we suggest excluding the limit on the premium amount on the accumulative life insurance in correction of the income of individuals, and also to provide benefits to the legal legal entities which participate in the voluntary insurance. We also believe that it is necessary to increase profits on the accumulative savings insurance products due to expansion of the investment activities. Here we suggest to simplify some conditions and requirements for voluntary insurance on small amounts or low-risk operations. As for strengthening the trust and confidence of the population in the insurance, we would like to suggest to increase awareness of the consumer on the work of the insurance organizations and their status. The population, they do not know that the contributions are insured at the fund. We need to expand the guaranteed life insurance in terms of development of the insurance products. It becomes quite popular when the non-insurance products have some insurance products included, and we think that these kinds of products will become more and more popular. We need to find the marketplaces and partner platforms for the ecosystem's development. All the information about the insurance services should be acceptable, available in the communication channels. It should be simple and clear. What perspectives do we see to expand coverage of the insurance market? First of all, this is increase of the share of the cumulative investment insurance of life, growth of the sales channel using the platforms of internet, the growth of the regional market development due to introduction of the online insurance, increase of attractiveness of the cumulative life insurance due to improving the tax policy, introduction of the tax benefits for individuals and legal entities. Also, we see growth of the insurance market due to promotion of the embedded insurance, so to say. Expansion of the data on the potential clients would allow the insurance companies developing and creating products corresponding to the interests and needs of the consumer. What influence could the life insurance development have on the country development? Development of the life insurance as a rule entails growth of the insurance reserves. Therefore, it is a long-term source of the long-term investments into the economy of the country. Also, insurance of life would allow reducing the social tension in the society in case of adverse events connected with health and life. Also, we believe that the sources of financing of the target expenses of citizens would be increased, like expenses for the education of children and long-term care of the elderly people. Development of the public-private partnerships, like grants programs, and further development of the digital consumption. At the end, I would like to appeal to our population, inviting them to pay attention to this accumulative life insurance products, to be able to use them to their benefit. Thank you. Thank you, Andrei Zamanbekovich. Oleg Arkadьевич, I see that you are bringing back the historical name of the company, Komeskomir. Why did you decide to do so? Why have you decided to change the branch of the industry the regulator suggests you to pass the portfolio of insurance, but you have decided to change the whole business. You have created an unusual case for us. Could you explain the reason? Why do you see the growth? Was it God who influenced the new product and your decision? So please, the floor is yours. Thank you so much. Once again, happy Financiers Day. Wish you good, stable finances, assets, and every success in your personal life. We are one of the most experienced companies. In November, we will be 31 years old. We started working back in 1991. The decision to start making life insurance was discussed by our team 3 years ago, and we thought it would be a good idea because we see some good opportunities in that. We applied to the regulator. We met with ASEL. We discussed that topic. Unfortunately, that time we could not change the style of insurance. It was not foreseen by the law, and we are the company which is the first in the history of Kazakhstan is changing this sphere, the industry. The regulator asked us to comply with the terms and conditions of the law to pass the portfolio, and now we are in the transit condition waiting for the licensing to have the life insurance. When we were creating life, we realized it was a zone of growth because we have a good expertise in the general insurance. Everybody knows about Kamesk. We are doing well what we are doing. We were newcomers to the life. In 2019, we became a company which has received the license, and the pandemic started when all the borders were closed. So for us to get the license, we asked the regulators to come to office, and they had to break those limits. I remember those days. And development of the whole market, I think that life insurance has a great future. We can talk a lot about the products, accumulative insurance of life and others. All the other products, I believe, they do not give any success as we expect, even those 5% we are expecting from the GDP.
As for the need of our insurers in our products, it's negative. Clients very rarely want to make independent choices for insurance. Mainly, we have mandatory insurance. So if we remember or talk about what we discussed 5 years ago, I think we need to say that we have still the same problems that we discussed 5 years ago. So I think we behave like we are drowning. I mean, we do get a new product, then we introduce it into the market, but then we experience external shocks and we go underwater. And that's what we've been doing. I think what we need in our market is a breakthrough. Perhaps Kaspi as an institution, as an idea, is needed so that we have a new player or a company or a couple of companies that will be leading all this development in the next 2 years. So the problem is nothing changes. That's the problem. And I want in this audience to be not just professional. I mean, we are people who believe in insurance, but I also see people from the regulator. And you are also involved in insurance because you believe in that. But we don't have any external clients. I'm sorry to say this, but I do think we need a breakthrough in this regard. So if we have this idea, then perhaps we need to stop. referring to the fact that that's the way we are and that's the market we are. So this is something that our competitors are doing, and so that's why we are doing that. So I think all our options with cashbacks, they have a negative impact. We need to sit down and agree on the following. We need to change the market with respect to life insurance and other types of insurance. And what can we do? We need to change the situation. If we cannot influence the process, let's lead the process. So what I'm saying is that our clients need to believe in insurance. And people try to avoid insurance, and we don't want this situation, and we're working on that. And there are already some good examples and solutions. But in the majority of cases, I think insurance is stuck. We talked about life insurance market, and we have grown for the past 21 years in that market, but that's not true. I think we need to be investors who will own banks. Look at what is going on in the world. Life insurance is something that is done by corporations, banks, and there they do that through accumulative insurance. So Nazim, what you're doing is great. I mean, you are attracting external premiums. You are the only company that does that in Kazakhstan, and you are unique in that sense. Nobody else can do that but you. However, I think we need to stop sort of working on our own, but we need to unite our efforts. And if we are able to do that, and we will be able to do that if we have a more balanced situation in the world, but it will never be the same. There won't be wars, there will be other conflicts, climate change related situations. I don't think talking about climate change, it's getting warmer and warmer in Almaty. We will not get any severe winters anymore. So I think we need to move in that direction. So why did we decide to change the sector? The reason is we believe in insurance and we believe in life insurance. That's why we have really great expertise and we are prepared to work with the market. Thank you, Oleg Arkadьевич. Dorian Kasamkhanovich, Oleg Arkadьевич is saying that life is getting better. Yerlan Bulatovich has changed the sector. So those are all very interesting trends. Could you perhaps discuss the other side? Challenges that are faced by the insurance sector are quite complex. The geopolitical crisis because of the war has influenced greatly your sector. So what are the prospects? We have discussed this actually already. We discussed how we can develop housing insurance, property insurance. By the way, the head of state instructed us to develop a new tax code, and we discussed this with our colleagues. How can we stimulate, incentivize everybody? So if we exclude those insurance expenses and sort of have them as part of tax deductions, maybe that will incentivize everybody, and that will kind of decrease the responsibility of the state, but the responsibility of citizens themselves will increase. And this is one of the instruments to improve insurance literacy and financial literacy. And those events that you have mentioned, Nazim Leonidovich, you talked about refugees, and they impact our social sphere. In accordance with our migration laws, these citizens must have voluntary medical insurance contracts. On the 4th of September, the head of state said that we need to launch voluntary medical insurance. So this is like an overlap of general insurance, life insurance. So what is your view? I mean, what should we be focusing on? Thank you, Yerlan. Those are all good questions. First of all, allow me to congratulate all our colleagues on this holiday, so to speak. A year ago, I think we were here, and we had 3 people from the regulator, and Yerlan Marzakovich, I think, was with us, and that's the whole audience. But today we have a larger number of people, which is great, so congratulations and welcome. Let me start with my presentation. I would like to show you the following. So we have prepared a report in which we forecast what will happen in 2022-2023. We will have a very good growth rate. For the very first time in 2022, insurance premium for the very first time will exceed, you'll see the number. But unfortunately in Kazakhstan, talking about premiums in dollars, this leaves much to be desired. $416 on average per capita. That's the level. If we compare that with developed countries, there they have up to $2,500 per person. There's still so much room for improvement in this sense. If we take a look at the period 5 to 6 years ago, we had quite a good tendency or trend in the insurance market back then. The majority of companies were able to earn, focusing on their primary activities. But today the situation has slightly changed due to several factors that we observe in the market. The majority of companies now are earning thanks to their investment activities. And it's great that we have such opportunities. If we talk about our core activities, then we have a problem of tariff-related dumping. That's the dumping that was caused by us insurers ourselves. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the client now is able to sort of make us to lower the tariff. So if we talk about international reinsurance, we cannot be talking about that under such conditions. So let's take a look at reinsurance. In the reinsurance market of Kazakhstan, had Russia as the main strategic partner, and those tariffs that we have in the insurance market, and so we also lowered them. Only Russian companies were prepared to work under such risks and with such portfolios at such rates. Today, due to the geopolitical situation, these partners are not there anymore, and Kazakhstan has closed borders. This is something that Nazim has mentioned. Indeed, that is a problem for the Kazakhstani insurance market. We have discussed with our colleagues this idea. We would like to create this pool and to work together with this pool. There are risks that can be spread out inside the pool. I think that will be a very good way to survive. And secondly, that will be some really useful experience for all of us. Periodically, we do work with the pool, and sometimes we work with that successfully. But now we can get together and discuss this, and then come up with a reinsurance model, taking into account those risks that we have, and Europe will not take these risks. And so the whole market needs to raise rates. And that's it. So let's give this some thought. We can meet a bit later and discuss this proposal. I think that that is a very good solution. And now, Nazim, you are not the only company. Today, in the market, especially over the past 2-3 years, the market has been quite active, and Halyk specifically has been very active, as well as Zhusan. We ourselves are quite active. Europe views this very positively, especially in light of the current situation. So we see previously nobody was paying any attention to us, but now attention is paid to Kazakhstan, and the insurance community, I think, can take advantage of the situation. What has happened, I think, can be resolved by us. Perhaps we're used to sort of fighting internally, so to speak, but if we unite, if we get together, then we'll be able to spread out risks, and we can do that on our own. We have well-capitalized companies that can afford to work with these risks. We will also increase Kazakh content. It's a fact. Obviously, certain issues arise, such as compliance, sanctions-related risks, but all those problems can be resolved. I would like, on behalf of the whole market, on behalf of our company, I would like to express our immense gratitude to the regulator for easing some rules, especially decree number 34, because that has been very helpful to some players in the market. Thank you for your understanding. Today, we see the regulator not just as the regulator, but we see the regulator as an entity that supports us, especially in such difficult times that we're living through right now. Again, I have already mentioned opportunities. Indeed, that is a fact. Recently, we had our annual meetings in Baden-Baden. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend them, but my colleagues went there, and they brought some really positive news for the Kazakhstani market. I was really surprised by our Uzbek partners. Abay, you went there. I'm sure you will agree with me. So now Nazim was saying that we need to meet and resolve all these problems. Nazim is absolutely right. I mean, what the Uzbek colleagues are doing right now, I think we will be lagging behind them, and I don't want that situation. We wanted 4 years ago to buy an insurance company there, and I got back and I described the situation and the future to my shareholder. That was maybe 5 to 6 years ago. I said there wasn't any volumes, there weren't any volumes, there was no market in Uzbekistan. But now they opened up everything, they have this carte blanche. And so I'm seeing those tendencies, which mean that we may be lagging behind. So we do need to act. So the partners are opening up, foreign partners are becoming available. Now, over the past 2 years, touch wood, we've been able to earn some good money with the help of these partners, and we have some big plans, and the UGPO portfolio will be sort of handed over. In Kazakhstan, I think so far we have been leaders for the past 6 years. But now we are not interested in working domestically. We are not interested in working with those tariffs, and we don't want to keep making losses. So we decided to wait until these tariffs change. Previously, I thought that the tariffs needed to be reviewed so as to be higher, but now I don't think this will help us. If the tariffs go up, insurance will start sort of giving all those commissions to everyone. So that will not resolve anything. That will make the situation worse, and clients will be unhappy with the market, saying that insurance is so expensive. That's why we do have such opportunities. So to answer your question, let's discuss this issue seriously, especially what you said about the taxes. I mean, we did discuss this. We wanted to meet together and discuss this, but then we will just forget about it. So now we need to take some serious steps and actions. And those proposals that you have put forward today for the insurance market, they can be, I think, really extremely useful. Let's talk about the insurance culture and how we can improve it. Our company, over the past 7 years, have been quite active in this area. We work with universities and other educational institutions. So we are trying to raise the level of this culture among students, among young people, among future leaders, business people. So when we talk to people about insurance, 3rd or 4th year students have no idea about insurance, and this is something that shocks us. I myself was a law student, and we had one class, 45 minutes, where we discussed insurance. And so that was it, as far as our knowledge of insurance was concerned. And today, students are no different in that regard. They actually get shocked when they see leaders of companies, of banks, who give them lectures, guest lectures. So we do need to improve this insurance culture. And we started working on that after that big conversation that we had. I think 5 or 6 years ago, we had this conversation with some European colleagues, and they opened a secret to me. They said that the government helped them somehow, but they didn't sit and wait for this support and help, as some insurance companies do. They wait for the government to help them. So those companies, and European insurance companies, they just got together and started to give guest lectures at universities. So they basically gave financial literacy lectures to students. And so now those students who attended those lectures, now they are businessmen, citizens of European countries, and they know why they need insurance. So why do we have these problems in insurance? Apart from those who must have this mandatory insurance, nobody else knows anything about insurance. As Andrei has said, clients get confused. They don't know what is life insurance, what is other insurance. Of course, nobody knows anything about insurance, and the government, you shouldn't be waiting for the government to raise awareness, etc. This is something that we need to do. We need to hold all sorts of events.
This is not a single marketing campaign, spending our money and having no sales. We need to do it every day, permanently. Then we will see how our children going to the second-year school, they will say, I cannot go out without insurance. I need casco, I need property insurance, I need to insure my civil administrative responsibility to the other third parties. Anything may happen. Me, as an owner of the barber shop, I cannot start up my business without insurance policy. I need to get registered for the insurance to insure my responsibility, because maybe deputy will come to have a haircut and I make him bald. I need to cover his expenses and his damage. I'm grateful And I would like to say thank you to the Central's representatives. For many years, they are doing a good thing. I am happy to come to their summits. This is a very important thing they are doing. We can do the same with the students. They can afford themselves doing a large-scale event like this. It's good and well done. I see my clients coming to you. I feel pain, but I'm happy. They still stay with us, but you're doing really well. Today, indeed, as our colleagues said, I have always a positive attitude to everything, to insurance as well. During the pandemic, I was eager to buy shares of Midlife. These are the largest insurers. IG also, the value of the shares was $6. Now it is 20 and higher. Insurance will survive any crisis. We are tracking this, we know this, so we will survive, we'll resist. Look at our colleagues, let us call them colleagues. We are trying to develop online sector too. Yandex is from Russia, but now I will use Yandex to get a car, to get a taxi. This is a progress that children use online, using the traffic, public traffic, the buses. We are looking forward to have the same, but we don't have enough space for development here. We cannot offer the clients, unfortunately, everyday purchase. We do it, but it is not sold like this, unfortunately. Once a year we consider it, and we, the insurers, in the nearest 5 years, 3 to 5 years, okay? We need to increase our recognition. We need to make agreements with aggregators used by the population and to buy them. I didn't use scooter, but a friend of mine tried to download the application for the scooter, and there is insurance there. And I think Amana did that. It's cool. During the period of work of Yergalit was done. This is cool. This is how we should approach the market, like the scooter case. I pay the bills for utilities. I pay the insurance for 1 month. If I fly, I buy an insurance against the loss of luggage. In this way, we will become more popular in Kazakhstan. Last year, I told you nothing changed significantly in terms of volumes. People don't know very well about the insurance. They call to the call center. We tell them, give them all the information, but unfortunately they don't use this product. We have a very low percentage. I will not even state that now. And you know that 1 month ago we started online payments. Can you imagine, in 1 month, at that all our branches around Kazakhstan, our insurance payment center gives the leaflets to our clients. They can see advertisement that they can receive payments online. We just tell them, just imagine you enter your account, the accident commissar has downloaded the pictures from the traffic accident. You have the identification using biometric data, your state, your insurance case, attach all the documents. You have the process of the damage assessment over there, because the appraisers of Kazakhstan, the independent appraisers, are linked to the system. You sign the documents using the biometric data and you receive the payment. This way we are ready for the Euro protocol. 10 people for a month. We are talking about this to everybody. We have hundreds of people coming to get payments, and only 10 of them used that opportunity. We forced them to do so, and we said, if you do this online, we will make the payment tomorrow. That was the only opportunity to force them. But people want to come, they want to see with their own eyes. They say, They say, I bought online policy, I don't know if I bought it or it was sold by the fraudulent people. I would like to come and get payment personally, coming to your office to be in the line, to drink your coffee, to see if you exist or not. This is normal. We will come to that. Our children understand that it's not necessary to go to Sulpak to buy a kettle or teapot. You can just push a button and the kettle will be brought to your house. We will come to that. We need to move forward. We don't need to stop on one spot. And we have seen the ads which has started recently about freedom. They made the ddtp.kz website, and I'm proud to see these cases which force us moving forward too. Thank you for your attention and every good luck to all of you. Thank you. Thank you, Dorenko Samkhanovich. In fact, you have mentioned also, and it is mentioned in the concept, the development and insurance of the professional responsibility. Now at Majlis there is a draft law on introduction of the doctor's responsibility insurance, and you understand this is 270,000 workers of the medical sphere, more than 2,000 organizations, medical organizations, and in this case, the deputies have presented an initiative to be formed within the insurance pool. This would be one of the conditions to work in this market. They are really concerned of the fact if they would be able to provide services, because the law will have a regulation that without insurance, no medical institution can provide any services. This is the global and very sensitive project for the whole system, the very sensitive draft law for the whole system. Last week we met with the tour operators. Vitaly Viktorovich participated in that meeting too, and the tour operators want to get back the insurance related to the tourism, outward tourism. And this will bring us back to discussing the imputed form of insurance of the tour operators. Let us pay attention to this too, Dinar Montana. The concept pays a lot of attention to the high quality statistics as well as the regulator does. And we need the uniform database. The insurance companies would be able to improve their underwriting to generate interesting products, taking into account the regionality and different peculiarities. My dream is to generate a sort of portfolio or financial status, to give the opportunity to the person to generate a financial status for the financial market participants to be able to make individual underwriting. How do you think where we could cooperate with you closer to improve the quality of services provided to protect the interests of our consumers? Thank you, Roman Murzakovich. Good day, everyone. My congratulations to the National Currency Day and Financiers Day, and happy to welcome you to the 10th Jubileum Financiers Forum Congress. I have received a very interesting question from you. I will like to tell you about regulation of the insurance market. We have talked about payments and how the insurance market is working to optimize this process. Or do I need to start from analytics? Let us start from the very beginning. The Credit Bureau is a back office of the insurance market. It is a data hub because we accumulate all the data in 2019, 2020. We were busy with receiving data on the obligatory insurance. Since 2022, we obtain data on the voluntary insurance, and we do continue developing by aggregation of data to ensure the analytics and provide information to the population, regulators, and national bank to be able to see where the market could develop and regulate its risks. I will tell you about the scoring of drivers, how we have implemented that. And regulator is using the data we analyze quite frequently. As for regulation of the insurance payments, the colleagues have shown how it will work in the front line. And we talked about the nationalbank.kz website. We have moved to collection of data, and in December we plan to collect additional data, and I hope the population will have a growing confidence in the market, because the process of regulation of the insurance payments will be transparent, starting from the frontal block when the client applies for regulation, and then the client would be able to monitor the whole process and see the status of his request, analyze how fast the insurance company has made the payment. And we hope that the culture and confidence of the population will be growing, and we see our contribution in that too. The GBD service, my favorite in this year. The whole credit market is using this for a long time, starting from 2007. The whole credit market of Kazakhstan, including the retail market, has grown in terms of the online crediting, because the services of the state databases are used by the banks actively. They have learned to complete data, quickly analyze the collateral, the data and details of the clients. And the insurance market, we wanted to have same activity level. We have a lot of services we offer. I cannot see a picture of all the services we have for individuals and legal entities. Due to the law passed on the 12th of September, we have changes which imply that the insurance company could use only hard copy certificates, and now there is an amendment saying that the electronic information could be used for the accidents. All the information required for the insurance market is integrated and is ready to be provided to have operative data on the client and to have confirm and clear data, and the opportunity to use them in a complex way and to take them into account in optimization of their process. And according to the protocol, we didn't talk a lot about that, but it was a huge project for 2023. On the 1st of January 2024, the law will come to the effect. We are grateful to the agency, to the association, to the National Bank, and to the whole insurance market that everyone understands the importance of this project. Everyone understands that it is necessary to solve the problems on the roads, on filing the applications for the simplified regulation, and we do hope that it will be done well in time, as it should be done. We hope for the support of the Minister of Digital Development and also for the support of the agency of the Minister of Internal Affairs. So this is how we see implementation of this project. As for the analytics, as Ilan asked his question, now we expect that there should be two directions. The analytics we would like to show to the population, to the citizens, at one KZ, and analytical packages for the participants of the insurance market. Today, we have KZ website with analytics on the insurance market, and the figures are available based on the existing database, including the regional peculiarities and influence of the driver's experience on the traffic accident, the condition and year of manufacture of the car. We expect that this will not be statistics but analytics, which could be used within the framework of the insurance company's operation, and for the investors to analyze how transparent the figures and numbers of the insurance block could be now, due to the fact that the agency has taken care of accumulating the data in one single place, and we can process all these figures and present them. Once again, we have three, I said two, now it is three departments. One, we want the citizens to see the insurance policies or the insurance information and analytical packages. We are offering to the market analytical information, which is open at the website at nationalbank.kz. So where we are present and participate officially together with the digital signature. Every person may get that through the website, through the registration of individuals. Quite frequently, people forget where they are insured. Any client may come and visit this website and see the insurance contract number. Same information should be available at gov.kz in the digital documents of the citizens, and we work with the partners for our service to be available to the wider range of population. Scoring of the driver we had been using on this project last year when we had a congress. I said that we expected to be implemented, that we did not realize what parameters would be included, how valid it would be, and so on. However, we have implemented this. I'm grateful to the insurance companies who supported that project. They piloted, they tested, they checked how our figures comply with the history of the client or expectations of the insurance company from the point of view of the analysis of people driving the car. Thank you for your attention, dear colleagues. I thought I will talk a lot and for a long time about what we have done. However, I would like to hear more from the insurance market, because we depend on participation of the frontal block in all the processes, and we would like to be the data hub, the analytical center for the data passed by the market to be analyzed and used in different ways, to do different types of scorings, including customized scorings, receiving different types of analytics reports. Banks are actively using the customized reports. Therefore, we are looking forward for the insurance companies to apply to us and use this kind of information. I would like to maintain the tandem between the optimistic market and a little bit passive regulator to have a good development and good joint work and cooperation. Thank you, dear colleagues. Thank you very much, Elnara Montayevna. I think that colleagues would be happy that by the day of Financiers you have made such a gift to us on the analytics, as you said.
But we are still waiting from you those technical specifications. We still haven't received them. Irina Sergeyevna, our accountant, they say to me, so we've spent money, where is the report? We will provide you with everything on the 18th of November at the platform. We will discuss actually this together with the agency. We have some tough deadlines to meet. Colleagues, we finished our presentations. If you have time and if you want, let's open the floor for questions. Colleagues, good afternoon. Congratulations on this holiday. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of our national currency. So now I looked at the internet, but the internet has forgotten about one important date. We should be celebrating the 25th anniversary of insurance in Kazakhstan. In 1997, a governmental decree was issued relating to insurance of civil liability. So we've been raising all these issues and questions for some time now, questions about the same things. Many colleagues have been in this field for a long time. And so we have raised this issue, which is the following issue. Insurance should become like a stepping stone for you to build relations with your clients. So direct clients interact all with insurers, and we know everybody has a family, a job, friends, etc. And we have all sorts of information involving a large number of people. But mandatory insurance hasn't become a driver for further development of our relations with clients. I personally think there are two reasons that do not allow us to develop this particular insurance. Those are client selection. We cannot select our clients. We did have a certain corridor, plus or minus 10%, but that selection is not very good, but maybe it will work. And the next reason is the so-called selection of losses. So we say that direct regulation doesn't work with a large number of payouts, and secondly, we can select clients using amounts of those insurance payouts. So my question is for you colleagues, what should we do with this wonderful instrument to be able to approach clients directly? So I'd be really interested to know what you think about that. Perhaps we should cancel tariff regulation. It's obvious that we need to increase payout sizes. If we take a look at our cars, our union of car dealers came up with these barriers. I mean, you cannot buy a car anywhere except at authorized dealers. So we need those flexible approaches. So let's talk about car sharing, but we have costs there. We are not able to buy a police or a coverage, insurance coverage. Our law is not prepared to do that. So colleagues, if you can, perhaps even if those are radical ideas, can you share them? Thank you, Vitaly. Let's give the floor to Asil. Vitaly is right. With the help of mandatory insurance, we were able to access each and every citizen in their homes. As for employees, we were also able to access employee offices. Unfortunately, the market, in my opinion, didn't take advantage of this opportunity in full. As for the selection issue, in light of new amendments, this issue will be resolved. Right now, a bonus-malus legislative act is being developed, and those mechanisms that need to be used from the point of view of smart insurance and tracking clients or dealing with bad drivers who violate traffic rules, meaning that those people will need that will lead to higher collections. So the scoring issue is resolved at this stage with the help of new technologies. As for tariffs, as you know, we ourselves, and Oleg Arkadьевич has mentioned that, we shot ourselves in the feet. The market, using those types of insurance that were allowed, did some or made some mistakes. So the tariff issue will not be resolved immediately. I would like to thank Linara for the work that they're doing. And we were right when we handed over the database to the government. As you know, the Central Bank of the Russian Federation wants to hand over their database. We did that 7 years ago. We integrated our database with the government's database. And today we do have certain results. Premiums and collections were collected. In 2007 or 2010 at the AFA platform, I said the following: let's make calculations of our reserves and losses straight away, let's register all events, and let's accumulate our statistics so as to have a clear idea of the situation. Back then the market was not ready to do that, and now we want all these quick results relating to tariff formation. Tariff formation depends on many factors: premiums, reserves, losses, etc. And as Linara has said, they are going to prepare their own statistical data. So what I'm saying is that the loss going forward, when the system is introduced, a system of flexible tariffs, all that will be improved. Now we have simplified our approaches to flexible tariff formation. We divided payouts into premiums. We took this payout coefficient. On average, for mandatory insurance, it equals 30%. And it seems like the tariffs are too high. I mean, if we take an average sort of tariff. There are some companies who have been mentioned already. Those who are working on this platform, they can work with their losses. And for some companies, those losses are more than 100%. So I think we shouldn't be so pessimistic. The system of flexible tariffs will not resolve the problem. The new system of bonus-malus with the use of telematics and many companies, Freedom is among them, are prepared to distribute these systems to the clients to track drivers. So these new things, they will lead to some additional added value, and the selection issue will be resolved. And then that target that we have of 60% in legislative acts, and then in the concept, the payout coefficient will be 60%. So we lost a lot of time. For voluntary insurance, they raised this issue whereby this information should have been added to the database a long time ago, and we're doing this only now, this year. So we're adding this information about voluntary insurance. So these figures are numbers are important, and we need to find a solution based on those figures and numbers. And the database, I think, is a key element which will allow us in future to resolve those issues that have been raised by Vitaly. Issues of scoring, selection, loss-making tariffs, and what Dorian has said, saying that we're leaving. I mean, we can leave this by diversifying the product basket of our company, but we cannot say that this type of insurance is not useful anymore. Globally, this type of insurance exists, and we keep talking about this test. As for car sharing, unfortunately, the legislation is not able to keep this pace, but this can be resolved, and this can be resolved together with the market, so that the market offers such products to the consumer. We need to write these provisions down for car sharing. The market quite often wants something written down, something written in written form. This can be done as part of voluntary insurance. Our industry is an industry where voluntary insurance, I mean, the rules are not regulated. There is this civil code article that mentions something, but we do have a problem. We need to resolve this problem. In the nearest future, we will be able to discuss this at the platform of AFC. Nazim Leonidovich wants to say something. So what's your thoughts about tariffs and releasing tariffs? Yes, I would like to answer this rhetoric question. Who is to blame? Why do we have high tariffs? We are to blame for that. When I say we, I mean lawyers. I'll explain to you why. In accordance with the Civil Code, mandatory insurance is regulated by legislative acts. Back in 1995, as you have said, mandatory insurance was introduced by a governmental decree. So from the very start, this scheme was not developed correctly legally. But we must be proud of the following fact. In Kazakhstan, mandatory insurance started working earlier than in Russia. And so in that area, we are ahead of our Russian colleagues. As for the issue that was asked by Yerlan, of course, insurers, being freedom-loving people, welcome liberalization of insurance tariffs. And we will say, let us go, let us free, let our tariffs go. But if we look at the situation through the eyes of the regulator and through our own eyes, we must remember what happened in the market when our former colleagues, as Asil said, started doing bad things with pension payouts. Companies were not able to work under this pressure, and they left the market. And so those two companies left the market. And that harmed the insurance culture very badly. When insurers leave the market, it always leads to scandals, lawsuits, clients being unhappy. That's why, of course, we want this to be in the free market, and tariff regulation, we want it to be cancelled. But unfortunately, that will not resolve our problems. That's why, as Asil has proposed, and as our law says, let's step by step move to adjusting those insurance tariffs. 10% today is not the corridor that reflects what we want. Indeed, that's not a very wide corridor. We would like it to be wider. But let's start with this small step, and then we will look and see, we will see how all this will develop. As for telemetrics, and as for new technologies that will help change the situation in this market segment, we have the largest market share in mandatory insurance and car insurance. We have more than 30%. And so when we use the database, we are able to conduct market research and market studies domestically. And so one of those studies was an attempt to understand how telemetrics can be used to decrease insurance costs and to introduce this pay-as-you-drive element. So while you are driving, you are paying. If you're not driving, obviously you're saving your money. And telemetrics requires the client to agree to a more accurate or to a more close relationship with their insurance company. What does that mean? Not all of our clients are prepared to have a device in their car that will collect information about their driving. Well, that can be anything, not necessarily a device, but maybe a telephone. So the question was the following: are you prepared to have this device, this sensor, in your car in exchange for your insurance going down? And unfortunately, and perhaps I have some outdated information or data, because we did that 3 years ago. So 85% said no. They said, I will pay 20,000 Tenge, but I will be confident that nobody is tracking me. That's why personal data for our clients, at least 3 years ago, was something that they valued very highly. And so coming back to the issue, adjusting the tariffs, in my opinion, is something that we can use in order to work on our database formation. Exchange of information with the government database is something that will help us also. We will be able to come up with this risk profile for clients, but we will need to invest in that, and the regulator will also have to invest in that, and this is something we all need to do. As for telemetrics, I think we need to handle this issue in light of our mentality and our insurance culture.
As for the payout, I didn't say enough. As for payout, it is necessary to make payments on them, because Eurasia is the only company, Nur Mohammed will help me, who is struggling against the insurance helpers. These are black lawyers who use the illiteracy of our population, try to provide them the legal services and collect the insurance payment from the insurance companies, and we assess their activity as fraudulent and dangerous. But they had a reason to appear. If the insurers had well-arranged insurance payments, then those lawyers would have no space to work. The insurers sometimes misuse their right to make insurance payouts not in full. And the answer to this question is you should pay more. As for struggling, we are struggling with that too. We do not make videos, we do it quietly but in a nice manner. We have put to prison many fraudulent people. I think many insurers work on that. I have a question. Yes, please, the floor is yours. In the beginning of your speech, you have shown serious perspectives for the market, 5-6%. These are the countries with high level of development. We have questions about that. The two targets I've heard: the penetration of insurance, the share of GDP, and growth of losses. I have not heard what targeted combined coefficient do you set, because the interest of the insurance companies will depend on that, if anybody needs that or not, and the interest rate which should be achieved in some period of time, in 10 years, which is not a big time for the financial market, which is life, which is non-life. And based on your answer, I would like to ask the market players if it is acceptable, if it is affordable for our insurance market. I'd like to hear opinion of the insurers if we have a chance to grow to 5%. Yes, please. Marina, thank you for your question. The target on penetration of 4% and assets 5% by 2030. That was the correct statement, and 60% on payouts. This is stated in the concept. Let us see the current statistics. The average coefficient ratio of payouts is 30% on mandatory, 20 on voluntary. Most of companies have 100% payouts, 80 to 100%. This means probably that the costs of the companies, the appetites of the shareholders, I guess, are very high, and this is a trouble. In fact, I liked the thesis of Nazim Leonidovich, who said correctly that you should pay. You should pay, and we talk about the social sector, but at the same time, the question of payouts is underestimated by us. We have a commercial attitude to that. I understand it is business. I know that shareholders will have no reason to maintain this fear if we come to 60% target and 100% ratio combined. The margin will be small, but please do not forget that insurance has the redistribution function, pools and volumes and coverage, and the database should help us in this in terms of coverage and volumes of clients. It's like a closed loop. You cannot go out from this loop. On the one hand, you are trying to have more collections and payments. On the other hand, you're temping and discredit your rates for which the companies provide us the business plans, and we do not get that coverage. This all is interconnected. And in my opinion, of course, in general, in the practice, this pre-combined ratio, if it is up to 100%, we have early response measures. If it is more than 100%, 110, I don't remember exactly. This is a factor for the response. Here I would like to note sort of message to the market about pricing. Some time ago, before 2004 or 2006, we regulated the tariffs. We approved the rules of insurance. Each company for each product provided the rules of insurance. We checked that range if it complies with the statistics. if it is corresponding to the statistics and what criteria and underwriting coefficients were set. That was very strict, but we stopped doing so in 2006. We passed the loss coefficient or loss ratio related regulatory legal acts adopted. We did not introduce any strict requirements for the companies to adjust their tariffs specifically on the types of insurance like social or where the consumer is an individual. We did not adjust the regulation which should be requested to adjust the tariff. When we look at some types of insurance now, the loss ratio does not achieve even 5%, does not reach even 5%, and the tariffs are not changing for 3 years even. This is indicative. The company is playing. They see the premiums having no losses. The business plan is fulfilled, and they are feeling calm and quiet. But if you reduce the tariff, you will increase the coverage. The conceptual mistake is that in the mandatory types of insurance, there should be no fixed tariffs, and in the voluntary types, there should be a requirement like this of the insurance company to review the tariffs. I understand that each company, according to its level of corporate culture, and we have some companies who have departments of actuary settlements or calculations, there is no correct pricing, and the companies are not doing some marketing campaigns that there is a reduction in tariffs for the asset insurance. Have you ever seen a campaign like this? Never. Maybe when you work with the corporate clients only. And the regulators would, by all means, take care of regulation, not regulation, but indirect control of tariffs depending on the loss rate. And here we will work, of course, in this respect, because every type of insurance, there is one of the main problems, bank insurance. Loss ratio on this type of insurance reaches 10%. There are companies who have a problem of not taking, being afraid of accepting the risks. They take some extreme situations, including a very small number of them. The global problem of the sector, as Leonid mentioned, we see a hurricane, we are afraid, we start being afraid and don't provide any flexible conditions to the client. Historically, when the consultants came from AMF, ADB, World Bank, they all said that if we look at your figures, we can say for sure the market doesn't want to undertake the risks that this is the only concept. Some rules and regulations were built up some time ago, but at the same time, taking risk and having the planned target margin to be smaller and taking more risk and increasing the coverage, this is not done. Same in the life insurance. If we talk about the pension fund annuity, the regulator says that the reservation rate should not exceed 6%. Conservative, not less than 6%. No, not more than 6%, conservative. At the same time, the profit indexation rate in the pension fund annuities is not forbidden for the company to give more. 6% could be replacing 5%, and why the market should promise more for several years, it's better to have cash back now and have satisfaction from that. If you talk about the pension annuities, if they show the significance in this part, that we have an inflation and we will adjust your indexation rate, I agree that there was a strategic mistake here, that the norm for 2 years was set that the client has the right to cancel the contract, because annuity is a long-term tool and the plan should be built for 15, 20 years, the plan of the company, I mean. But at that time, as far as I remember, there were no reliable guarantee system. Now we have a good guarantee system which covers assets in case of life insurance company liquidation. Here, in my opinion, the companies are afraid of taking these risks. They feel comfortable within the regulations stipulated by the regulator without offering more for the people. And here there is a thesis that it is necessary to satisfy the needs of a client. It's clear that why a shareholder should start this business, then yes, business is needed indeed, and the insurance was always deemed that in case of any shocks, economic or political shocks, the insurance market is surviving always because they can assess these risks. Our sector lacks the desire to take the risk. In my opinion, the appetite is only for dividends, for the collections and so on. I'm not talking about everyone. There are some individual companies who do not want to do so, but there are companies, and all the speakers present here, they all have story of success, and they have some specific features they introduced to make contribution to development of this sphere. I don't know if I have answered your question, but I think that I have quite a clear message that the pricing should be built on the actuary approaches. Thank you very much. I think representatives of the market would like to say something. No? Okay, dear colleagues, do you have questions, or we could finish our session? We have exceeded all the time frames. Dear colleagues, thank you so much. I hope that today's session was interesting for you. Hope to see you again, and goodbye.
До свидания всем.